Section 122 is over. The tariff exposure is not. The forced labor Section 301 structure is live. Brazil opened a WTO dispute, and the in-transit exception expired at 12:01 Eastern Time on July 28th. And if your landed cost model is still running the way it did before July 24th, some of your numbers are already wrong. There's 16 stories in this briefing. What changed, what's still standing, what you do about it, and exactly where each one gets logged. This is your Tariff Intelligence Briefing covering developments through July 28th, 2026. I'm Ramey Burke, Procurement Leader, Trade and Tariff Risk Strategist, Subject Matter Expert, 20 plus years in supply chain, founder of Career Chronicles, creator of the Tariff Operating System. One note on dates before. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of fly off here. I know I'm just reading, and so it's probably really boring for you, so we're just going to go straight from there. Look, there's going to be a note on the dates before I start. I don't say today or tomorrow in these. Every day you hear is the actual calendar date. That helps so that way then whenever you're listening, the day that this drops or 3 weeks later, you can check whatever I say against your own calendar and know exactly where you stand. And one note on timing. I don't publish these the morning the news breaks. I really don't. I run the changes through my own tariff operating system. Let's just call it TOS for short. Then I publish because I want to make sure that they're field tested. Okay, that's why this went up on the 28th. It still had a few things from the 24th on there. Every story here ends with where it goes in the tracker. I'm going to name the tab. I'm not going to read you every column because that's a 20-minute detour you don't need, and you'd have to write it down anyway. The full field list and the screenshot of my actual tab filled in, it'll be at careerchronicles.org. I'll put the link in the show notes. Now, let's go through deadlines pretty fast, okay? 5 that matter the most. Already lapsed, 12:01 a.m. Eastern on July 28th, the forced labor Section 301 in transit exception. August 2nd, 2026, AGOA and Haiti HOPE and HELP retroactive refund request. It's a hard deadline, no extensions. If you're hearing this after August 2nd, that window is already closed. August 10th, Germany Pharmaceutical Section 301 comments. August 19th, Canada's 50% Section 338 tariffs. September 22nd, the Germany Pharmaceutical hearing. The rest, and there are about 8 more that are running into 2027, are already loaded in the 90-day tariff risk calendar. That one's free. Its links are going to be in the description, the show notes, or you can go to Career Chronicles and click on the tab where it says free resources and get it from there. Now, quick vocabulary note because it changes what you do. When I say confirmed, the rate or the deadline is already in effect or already scheduled by statute or proclamation. When I say active investigation, nothing is final. It goes on a watch list, not your cost model. I'll flag which is which every single time. All right, let's start. Here are the 16 stories, and we're going to run through them pretty quickly so you don't have to just feel bored listening to me talk. Brazil opens a WTO dispute. Now, that's a confirmed filing. Tariffs stay collectible. On July 28th, Brazil formally requested WTO consultations. It's challenging both the 25% Brazil-specific tariff and the separate forced labor duty that adds up to 12.5% on covered products. Brazil's argument is that both are inconsistent with U.S. obligations under the GATT. Here's what matters. A consultation request opens a process. It does not invalidate, suspend, or refund anything. Keep paying, keep accruing. Now, here's the direct procurement action. Do not pull Brazil out of your landed cost model because a filing exists, and preserve your entry payment and liquidation records. Because if this ever settles, the companies with clean records move first. This one goes on the monthly watch list tab of the 90-day calendar. It's a posture change, not a rate change, so it doesn't belong on your dated calendar. I show you the exact row on the site. Again, that's careerchronicles.org. Number 2, the in-transit exception is closed. This is confirmed expiration. The 4-day transitional relief expired at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time, July 28th. It only covered goods loaded and already moving on their final mode of transit before July 24th, and only if they were entered or pulled from the warehouse before July 20th cutoff. Both conditions, not either one. A PO dated July 20th buys you nothing on an entry filed after that cutoff. Entry date controls. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you something here. Again, going off script. I'm going to give you the procurement action. You're going to close the work stream and reconcile every claim you made under it. Anything that missed the cutoff gets full post July 24th treatment. Country rate, MFN, inclusive formula, exemptions, all the layers. This is the part that I'm taking off script. I personally have dealt with this at least 100 times in the past few years where you get the actual CBP tariff bills or duty bills after the fact. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a little bit of a strategy here that's actually helped me a lot. And I'm sure you've already experienced this as well if you've been doing this for a while. Now, one of the things that I've noticed is that we'll get bills 6 months, even a year after the fact. You're going to get hit with tens of thousands or more, even hundreds of thousands of actual tariffs if you don't follow this. And this is a strategy, like I said, I've used before, is you're going to go ahead and pull all your final exception reports now. That means your entry number, your BOL, bill of lading, vessel loading timestamp, final mode transit evidence, port status, broker contact, actual entry time. If you have a customs broker, you can get this from them. And for anything that missed that window, confirm that it's post cutoff duty. We already know how to do that. What you're going to do is that when you pull your final exception report, you're going to go ahead and calendar it to check with AP and let them know if you get a bill from CBP that they need to check it against this. And it'll be very easy to dispute because once you have all of your documents, if they try to send you a bill, you can actually send those documents over and your bill can actually be put to zero. I've had it happen where even on Liberation Day, which was April 2nd, 2025, we all know that day, just so that everybody knows after February, when we started inputting our IEEPA refunds that we were allowed to get, we started getting bills for things in 2025. And AP wanted to pay those. But the only reason why they checked with us is because they knew we were working on the refunds for that period. And then we were able to say, wait, this is from March of 2025. These weren't even in effect. And because we had the proper documentation, we got like, I can't even tell you, it was more than $100,000 worth of actual tariffs that were billed down to zero. I can't even imagine if they didn't have a tariff strategist working for them, that they just blindly paid them because that's what sometimes AP does. And we all know that happens. But I'm just letting you know there is a way to do this. And again, the reason why AP did that was because you ended up having a cost center that you had to go ahead and just tied to tariffs and you didn't have someone reviewing it constantly because there was so much going down on the line and you were short on manpower. That's why it's so important to have a tariff operating system or TOS, like I said, because if you have that, you actually have everything that you need to be able to deal with this in a timely manner. Everything that I just said about the post exception report, what I would do is also put it on your calendar, like mark it as a reminder, just to check in with AP to make sure they're not paying it. FYI. That's just a little tip for me. Anyway, going back, if you have the tariff playbook suite, this is the response plan row with an owner and a due date, which is the whole reason that product exists. So nobody has to remember it. It only costs $27 and you constantly get every single upgrade, even the one that I just did with all the section 122 showing as sunsetting and the new 301 forced labor row already in there. Now, I'll walk you through the entire row at careerchronicles.org, but let's move to the next. The forced labor section 301 is the baseline now. This is confirmed and effective July 24th. There are 60 economies, the flat rate of 10% or 12.5%. MFN inclusive calculations for certain economies, and it's covering roughly 99.4% of U.S. imports before exemptions. This did not replace Section 122 legally. It replaced it operationally. Now, it's a different statute, different structure. Here I go rabbit trailing. We already know that there's going to be challenges, but just because there's challenges does not mean that you don't have to pay. We'll see how this goes down along the line with the courts and everything. But in the meantime, we have to go ahead and take this procurement action. Stop using one blended forced labor rate per country. You need country group HTS classification, MFN rate, product exemption, and every duty that stacks as separate fields. And just for reference, If you try to average this, one of those average numbers will be wrong on half of your lines. And here's the part I want you to go check rather than take my word for. Open your 90-day calendar, the tariff risk calendar that you got for free. That's in the show notes. Go to the tariff calendar tab and scroll to July 24th. It's already there. Section 301 forced labor action, effective, 60 economies, impact, critical status, live. Right under it, Section 122 closed. I didn't add those for this episode. They were in the file first because being prepared is better than getting this taken off guard, because now if you're not prepared, you're just running through the motions trying to catch up, having another fire to put out. If your copy doesn't show them, you're on an old download. You can get an updated download by going to the actual link. If you already have it, you can go back to that link or sign in. I think you can sign in as well and get a brand new download. I update these regularly, so you don't have to. If you don't want to, you can update your own. Once you get yours, you can update it however you want. USTR says the impact should be limited. Now, this is a confirmed administration position, but it's not a guarantee for you. Ambassador Greer said the forced labor tariffs shouldn't materially affect the U.S. economy because their rates track close to what Section 122 already charged, and the exemptions narrow the scope. That's a national number. Yours depends on your sourcing concentration, your exemption eligibility, and your existing MFN rates, and whether anything stacks. Now, here's your procurement action. Measure it against your own category spend, supplier concentration, margins, and pass-through rates. Do not substitute the national assessment for your own. This is exactly what the Tariff Impact Automation Suite does for you. You move the rate lever, you see your dollar impact before it lands instead of after, $199 for 4 workbooks, and you get the actual, okay, I'm going to have to stop here again and let you know about the command center. You need to go ahead and check out the command center. I'm going to see if I can put an image in the podcast. If I can, you'll see it. But this is what's amazing about it. You can actually play with the scenario rate for every single one of these. It's totally worth it. Go to careerchronicles.org. The link will be in the show notes. Now, Brazil's combined exposure runs to 37.5%, and that is confirmed stacking. Brazilian officials put roughly 23.1% of Brazil's U.S.-bound exports inside one of these actions, and about 16.5% are facing the full stack. That's a 25% country-specific tariff plus 12.5% forced labor duty on the same product. That's 37.5%. It does not apply to every Brazilian import, but it does apply to a few. Now, here's your procurement action. You need to have 4 buckets. One of them is exempt from both. The other one, 25% only. The third one, 12.5 only. And the combined 37.5 is going to be the 4th bucket. Then make your suppliers prove it. They need to have an HTS classification, importer of record, and evidence both measures actually apply before you accept a price increase, okay? This is the HTS level work, which is what the tariff autofill tool is for. I'm going to go ahead and let you know. I've already done all the work here. If you want, you can just filter it if you have this, or you can do it yourself. It's up to you if you want to go ahead and take the time to have to do it all. That's up to you. You can also go to the free tracker tool. Brazil is going to take it to the G20. That is confirmed. It's a diplomatic engagement. There's no rate change. Repeat that again. Finance Minister Dario Durigan says he'll raise the tariffs directly with, repeat that again. Finance Minister Dario Durigan says he'll speak with Treasury Secretary Bessent at the upcoming G20 meetings. Now, Brazil expects talks to continue, but it has secured no suspension, no expanded exclusions, and no rate cut. Now, the WTO filing and the diplomacy, I repeat that again, the WTO filing and the diplomacy, the WTO filing and the diplomacy are parallel tracks. Now, here's your procurement action. Keep current tariffs in your approved forecast. Build negotiated relief scenarios separately and identify which Brazilian categories would actually change a sourcing decision if relief landed. Now, this should be on your monthly watch list. The free calendar is below. 30 seconds of work, and you'll be set for a little while. It'll at least keep everything, all the stakeholders, all the budget forecasts, all the senior leadership and C-suite will know exactly what's going on, which will at least stop them worrying a little bit or giving you pressure a little bit. Okay. Number 7, Brazil accelerates MERCOSUR diversification. Now, this is a confirmed negotiation development. Brazil and South Korea agreed to accelerate a South Korea MERCOSUR agreement and stand up a working group, plus expanded critical minerals cooperation. And the China and Brazil have also both signaled support for advancing China MERCOSUR talks too. And if anyone's interested, MERCOSUR is spelled MERCOSUR, in case I'm not saying it the way that anyone else is used to. Brazil is diversifying away from U.S. dependent trade as this exposure climbs. It's not good. Now, your procurement action. If you buy out of Brazil, watch whether new export channels pull capacity or shift supplier allocation. For South Korean sourcing, don't change any duty assumption until something is actually concluded and implemented. This is a watch list item, not a model input. All right. Number 8, China and the U.S. weigh reciprocal cuts. This is a little bit of good news, hopefully. This is at the consultation stage. There's no cuts in effect. China is collecting comments from its own companies, industry groups, local governments, and U.S. business groups on reciprocal reductions covering roughly $30 billion in trade. Agriculture products are expected to be in scope. No final product list or schedule or effective date from either side has come up yet. This is a rare one that could take a rate down instead of up. Now, here's your procurement action. Identify which of your Chinese and U.S. lines would benefit, agricultural and food inputs especially. Do not reduce a single accrual until both governments publish final schedules and CBP issues implementation instructions. Now, if you got the tariff autofill tool, this is just a filter. You're looking for your own exposure inside a candidate list, and that takes about a minute instead of an entire afternoon. Canada's 50% Section 338, August 19th. Now, this is a confirmed future action. Again, we don't know what challenges could take, and we don't know if this is going to get pulled back. Right now, we have 3 proclamations. Additional 50% duties on specific Canadian goods. It covers motor vehicles, dairy, and alcohol beverages. The products run from wine and hockey equipment all the way to cement. They apply regardless of USMCA origin status. Now, what's excluded is energy, potash, Section 232 goods, certain fish, and critical minerals. Now, here's your procurement action. You need to build the file by SKU, HTS code, supplier, importer of record, annual spend, entry date, Incoterm, USMCA status, and Section 232 status. And do not run a blanket 50% scenario across all Canadian spend. Only the annex lines. Now, from the July 28th briefing day, that's about 3 weeks of runway. That's enough to do this properly if you start when you hear it. Now, the Tariff Playbook Suite has the exposure file structure built. It's $27 and I constantly update it. And as it gets updated, you get that updated version as well. So you don't have to go back and do any of this. You can just filter. I'll show you on the tab that's going to be on the site so you can get a screenshot of exactly what I'm doing. Again, that's at careerchronicles.org. Number 10, Germany Pharmaceutical Section 301. This is an active investigation. There's not a tariff proposed as of yet. USTR is investigating whether Germany's pricing and reimbursement practices for innovative pharmaceuticals shift a disproportionate share of R&D costs onto the United States. Now, comments and hearing requests are due on August 10th, and the hearing is for September 22nd, and it'll probably run to the 23rd. There's no remedy, no rate, no product list yet. So for a procurement action, now, if this is in your sector, map German origin across finished drugs, APIs, excipients, packaging, manufacturing equipment, and cold chain. Identify sole source exposure and regulatory switching barriers, and decide whether you or an industry association should file. Another go look, don't type. Open the comment and hearing tracker tab in the free calendar. Germany Pharma is already in there. Comment due August 10th, hearing September 22nd. The only column you touch is submitted. Now, if you're already subscribed to this Substack and you're hearing this on Substack, I'm going to go ahead and send out the 90-day calendar to you guys, just so you know, okay? Because it'll be easier for you to see what I'm talking about instead of me saying just go to the comments or the notes if you don't already have it. Number 11, excess capacity investigations, active investigations, no final rate. USTR is running a separate Section 301 track on industrial overcapacity across 16 major economies. This includes China, Vietnam, Mexico, and the EU. Greer has said these could result in additional tariffs. Now, there's no findings, no product lists, no rates, and no dates. This is the next broad risk on the board. And for the procurement action, add investigation status on your country and commodity dashboards and prioritize scenarios for sectors already carrying supplier concentration. That's Chinese overcapacity, Section 232 duties, and multiple Section 301 layers. Now, this is scenario work again, which is why we have the tariff impact automation suite. You want these modeled before there's a rate, not after. And easily, you can have this presentation ready in minutes, just so you know, because you get the executive command center. Number 12, the textile tariff rate quota is still pending. This is a confirmed mechanism. It's not operational. The forced labor action contemplates textile and apparel quotas for Bangladesh, Cambodia, Indonesia, and Malaysia, where qualifying volumes could eventually come in without the new duty. USTR has not published volumes, HTS coverage, allocation procedure, or an effective date. Now, the current treatment applies until a separate notice takes effect. Now, here's the procurement action. Keep the existing tariff and your base landed cost. Meanwhile, identify potentially eligible SKUs and start collecting supplier documentation on U.S. origin cotton, yarn, and fabric. Because when this opens up, you'll need it already in hand. Now, this goes on a watch list, no date to put on a calendar yet. Number 13. Court challenges don't stop collection. We've already talked about this. There are active litigation. Tariffs remain effective. Small businesses have challenged the forced labor tariffs at the Court of Intentional Trade. They're arguing USTR exceeded its Section 301 authority. No injunction stopping collection has been identified. We've watched this movie with IEEPA. The courts can overturn it, but you cannot recover what you cannot document. Your procurement action is to maintain a litigation register with entry number, Chapter 99 code, tariff authority, duty paid, liquidation status, and protest deadline. And do not reduce accruals just because litigation is pending. The register is what the tariff refund suite is, $197. You get 4 trackers and it bundles the filing paperwork when the moment comes. It actually generates a lot of the paperwork for you and it takes out any of the manual work. I mean, you will love this. I love it. I can't get over it. If this gets overturned, the people with the file already get paid first. And we already know that. We've seen that movie. Section 122 expired. The money didn't. It's an expired action. Refund rights are still open. We all know that the temporary Section 122 surcharge expired on the 24th and should not be applied to any entry outside its effective period. But duties already paid under it stayed relevant for liquidation, protest, and litigation-driven recovery. The forced labor tariffs are legally separate and payable regardless. Now, your procurement action here, there are 2 things. First, confirm your broker actually stopped applying Section 122 after the 24th cutoff. Go check that directly. Second, keep a historical file on every Section 122 entry, amount paid, liquidation date, protest deadline, and status. Now, at the program level, your free calendar already shows it closed. Now, the data entry level is where the money is, and that's at the Tariff Refund Suite's Section 122 tracker. It's 1 row per entry. On the site, I show you exactly what I'm talking about, what a filled row looks like. Again, that's careerchronicles.org. Number 15, CBP filing controls are the real operational risk. Now, this is a confirmed implementation requirement. USTR sets the authority, the rates, and the legal treatment. CBP runs the entries through ACE Chapter 99 codes, trade remedies guidance, and CSMS messages. Going from one flat global surcharge to country groups, MFN inclusive formulas, exclusions, and overlapping programs, that is exactly the kind of change that produces broker programming errors. Now, here's your procurement action here. require written broker confirmation of country groups, HTS codes, Chapter 99 code, MFN rate, exemption basis, and stacking logic on every material entry. Then audit your highest value imports filed since July 24th before a small error compounds across the entire quarter. Now for 16, AGOA and Haiti refunds, that's August 2nd. It's coming fast. It's a confirmed hard deadline. I almost left this off, and that would have been a mistake. If you imported under AGOA, Haiti HOPE or Haiti HELP during the lapse period, which was October 1st, 2025 through February 3rd, 2026, you have until August 2nd, 2026 to request those duties back. After that, they're rejected. There is no extension mechanism. Unliquidated entries need a post-summary correction with an accelerated liquidation request. Liquidated entries need a formal protest, and it covers general ad valorem duties only. So don't build a number that includes merchandise processing fees, IEPA, Section 232, AD, CVD. None of those come back through this door. But your procurement action, if you're hearing this before August 2nd, pull those entries now. This is money on the table. You don't want to leave it there. If you're hearing it after the window is closed, then the lesson is to get the next one on your own calendar before it runs. Now, here are your refund opportunities. Go to your refund opportunities tab on the free calendar. It's already logged with the August 2nd deadline and the entry period. 2 columns are yours, reviewed and filed. This is the cheapest money on the list. The duties were already paid. The entitlement already exists. It just expires if you wait too long. Here's your executive action. Close and reconcile the in-transit exception population. And if you touched AGOA or Haiti in October to February window, that's the one with the nearest hard deadline. Your deadlines, August 10th, Germany and pharma comments. Oh, I almost forgot. August 2nd, AGOA and Haiti. August 19th, Canada Section 338. There's going to be the 4th U.S.-Mexico round. Executive decisions. Approve country and product level landed cost forecasts, not blended percentages. Decide whether Brazilian categories need sourcing intervention under the confirmed 25, 12.5, or 37.5% exposure. And for finance, keep accruing despite the WT filing and the litigation. Separate accounts for Brazil-specific forced labor, future Canadian, and possible historical Section 122 refunds. For trade compliance, audit both July 24th entries for HTS, origin, MFN rate, Chapter 99 code, exemption, and stacking logic. All right, let's close this out. 16 stories, and every one of them has a tab it belongs in. I put the whole thing on careerchronicles.org, every tracker update, every field, and screenshots of my actual tabs with the rows filled in so you can see exactly what I did rather than reconstruct it from audio. That's at careerchronicles.org. Link is in the show notes. Here's the honest switch. This took me most of the day, and I do it every day. For you, I can't even imagine. It might take you weeks. I have no idea what it would take someone who doesn't have a tariff operating system. The 90-day tariff first calendar is free and already has these changes in it. The tariff playbook suite is $27. The tariff autofill tool is $97, and the tariff impact automation suite is $199. You pay once, and every update after that is included, including this one. I do the work, I field test it, then you get it. Thanks for listening. Have a wonderful day.